Winter is pretty much over. The month of March is here. That means it's springtime. That means it is time for spring training in baseball. It is time for uh just spring practices, college football. And I'm here to do some team previews with you guys throughout the spring and the summer. And what better way to kick things off than the defending national champions? That's right, people. It's my Alabama Crimson Tide. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Christian Bauer here with Ballard Sports Media, coming at you today with a team preview video, the first one of the upcoming 2021 college football season, and I cannot be happier. I cannot be more excited for it. I know last year it was conference only in pretty much every Power 5 conference. I guess the Big 12 had a couple non-con games, but whatever. Counted all the way around. Um, I It was a great year. We pulled it off in a season of weirdness, chaos, craziness, you know, and Alabama stood on top of the college football world. Nick Saban and Alabama, the defending national champions, folks. And Nick Saban breaks Bear Bryant, getting his 7th championship overall. Bear Bryant has 6. So let's go ahead. I'm not going to take up too much time, but what happened last year? I don't even know. I don't even remember who they actually had scheduled, but it doesn't matter, right? Conference only up until the playoffs. We get it. They went on the road at Missouri. They won that handily, 38-19. Of course, if you remember from 2019, we looked at it and said the defense is terrible. They gave up this many points to LSU and Auburn. And, after the whole 44-16 thing, it's like next season, Bama Factor, going to get it restored, going to get back to it. LSU won the Natty. We come into 2020, pandemic and everything. Are we even going to have football? And we did, right? So they changed it to conference only. That, at Missouri, A&M, at Ole Miss, Georgia was originally on the schedule. At Tennessee, rivalry game, Mississippi State. Then they had 2 back-to-back bye weeks. One was a original bye week, but LSU had canceled due to COVID concerns. Then they had Kentucky. Then they had the Iron Bowl at home. They won that pretty good. Got revenge on Auburn, 42-13. Then they play LSU, who were they supposed to play on, I think, November 7th. They had November 7th and 14 off. I think they were supposed to play them on the 7th and then get a bye week, or maybe the other way around. Either way, they played them December 5th. Then Arkansas on the road, and they won that 52-3. Then they win the SEC championship game, which it looked like it was over at halftime, but Florida came back, and it ended up being only a 6-point game. Had Kyle Trask and the Gators got to the ball in time, get one final playoff, could they have won the game? Maybe. Maybe Bama's defense holds on. But in this case, they did. They couldn't get to it in time, and Alabama won the SEC championship. We know about that. Okay. Rose Bowl game, semifinal, gets moved to Arlington because of COVID concerns in California. Past that, they beat Notre Dame handily, 31-14. Devontae Smith, the Heisman winner. I mean, what didn't go Bama's way last year? I don't know. I guess a couple close games, which actually you need those in order to win a championship. You got to play close. You got to test yourselves and everything. Do they do that on purpose? I don't know. But like a close game like the Florida game or whatever, that was great. They needed that. You got to test yourselves. And of course, we get to the final game at Hard Rock in Miami. Saban wins his 7th championship. He now leads in national championships all time, breaking Bear Bryant's record, winning his 7th, but 6 at Bama because he's got the one at LSU. And they win the championship 52-24 over Ohio State. That being said, they lose everybody. Well, not everybody. They got some great guys coming in. J.C. Latham on the offensive line. Tommy and James Brockemeyer. I could keep going down the list. They got Bryce Young coming in. I'm so hyped up. Brian Robinson's going to return. He'll be the lead running back. Mechie, who was a key guy last year in the receiving game, stepping up, but the spotlight kind of got taken away by Devontae Smith and Waddle before his injury. Mechie could be receiver 1. Slade Bolden comes back. There's a lot to look forward to. I don't think it's going to be what it was last year, but let's go ahead, people. Let's look at, real quick, the 2021 schedule. And again, 2 less games because it was 10-game regular season instead of 12. So they ended up going 13-0 and 11-0 in the SEC. 13-0 national champions for the Crimson Tide. Okay, past that, let's get to 2021. Hopefully a spring game, which doesn't really mean much. It's just great to see that. It's good for the fans. Possibly, I saw where they're going to try to maybe charge tickets just because, COVID and everything, reserve seating, all that stuff. So you got the A-Day spring game April 17th in about a month. But getting to the regular season, and this is going to be a fun, long off season. Open up with, and I'll run through this and we'll get into these games. Open up with Miami. The Miami Hurricanes. I'll get to y'all in a second. I'm not done with y'all. Then, that's the Chick-fil-A kickoff in Atlanta. Then you got the Mercer Bears at home. You played them a couple years ago. That was like your cupcake game before the Iron Bowl. We normally play a cupcake game before that. So you play the Mercer Bears. Then you go on the road on September 18th to Florida. Go to the Swamp. That's going to be very interesting. A rematch of last year's SEC title game. Of course, Mac Jones and Kyle Trask, top quarterbacks in the draft. Two of the key quarterbacks, I guess, in this year's draft going to the NFL. We'll see what it looks like. I'm hearing maybe it's Emory Jones for Florida. Bryce Young, obviously, at Bama. Then you play Southern Miss, a cupcake team. Shout out to my man Sippy's sports show. Go sub him up. He's a Southern Miss fan. I was talking with him yesterday or whatever, man. He wants to try to do something for the week of that game, even though that's probably going to be a blowout game. But shout out to you, Sippy's sports show, if you're watching this. Then you get Ole Miss. That'll be interesting. Keep your eye on Lane Kiffin. At A&M, at Mississippi State. Play the Volunteers at home. Then a bye week on October 30th. LSU, New Mexico State, Arkansas, 3 home games there. And, of course, you close it out with the Iron Bowl at Jordan-Hare, first-year head coach Brian Harsin. Overall, what do I think about this? I want to say Bama's got it easy, but I also want to say keep your eye on some teams. Miami's a good team. They're a good program. We'll start with them. And the only reason why I'm really messing with Miami fans this offseason is just for hype and hate. I have no hatred, honestly. I just like the term hype and hate. Shout out to Uncle Lou, though. It's just fun. I want to get excited for this game. Could Miami win? That's the question. I think Derek King is coming back, if I'm not mistaken, from what I heard. And if he's not, I don't know. They got like 50 different quarterbacks that I'm hearing about. I don't know. They're not a dead program. They're not a bad program. They are one of those teams that can be inconsistent, that has had their fair share of opportunities, that has declined. You don't know what you're going to get out of Manny Diaz in Miami. Their first test comes very early. And all I'm going to say, Miami, is if you do beat Alabama week 1, I don't think it's going to happen. I'll go ahead and pick Bama to win this game. But this is going to be a huge matchup to watch. Miami's great defensively. And Bama's been great on offense since coming in Jalen Hurts. Of course, the legend Tua Tagovailoa, the legend Mac Jones, right? Miami, if you win this game, if you beat Alabama week 1, however, last second field goal, overtime, I don't care. I don't care how you beat them. If you beat them in any way, shape, or form, Miami, you better go big or go home. You better win a championship. We're not going to put up with this whole, we lost to Miami week 1, and they ended up going 7-5, 6-6, or 8-4. You better at least win your division. Go forward with it. Make the ACC, and at the very least, knock off Clemson, win the ACC. If you win this game, right, which I'm not going to count it out too much. I don't know what to make of Miami. Heck, I hardly know what to make of Alabama. I think Bryce Young's going to be great. The question is, how's the talent around him going to look? Because I know they just signed what people are saying is the best class in history or whatever, some freshmen coming in, but you got to think it's inexperience. We're going to see what that looks like. So I'll be hyping up this Miami game. Definitely. It's Chick-fil-A kickoff, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. It's going to be a great game. I honestly hope it is close. I love a good close game, and, I want to see teams like Miami win the ACC or win their conference and be real. I know I'm a Bama fan, so I can't speak much on it, but let me take off real quick the Bama fan glasses. Let's say I don't have any team. If I'm just a regular college football fan that just loves the game itself instead of pulling for a team. Not only am I sick of seeing it be Clemson and Bama every single year in the Natty or the playoffs, but just in general, can we get some other ACC or SEC teams in there? Georgia from the SEC. They played Clemson week 1. Get into that a little later on. That's another hype and hate type video we can hype up on here. Georgia, Florida, please, Auburn, North Carolina trying to do something with Mac Brown. He's has some good recruiting. I mean, there's teams that are right there. But it's just Clemson and Bama in their own conferences are always one step ahead of any other team. Same thing could be said for the Big Ten with Ohio State. Penn State's had their fair share of chances. They had some opt-outs that held them back last year. But let's say they didn't. Let's say it was a normal year. Could they have beaten Ohio State? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. I don't know. But there's just certain teams. I want to see Miami win the ACC at some point, and it'd be great to see a different ACC team get in the playoffs other than Clemson. Just saying. But maybe this year's not the year. Getting back to Bama's schedule, I'm not sleeping on my Tide this year all that much. They're gonna beat Miami. That's a win. Mercer, no problem. Cupcake team. Florida, will keep your eye on it, but they take a huge step back, losing to Kyle Pitts, Kyle Trask, a couple other receivers, some defensive players, which, if they're bringing back Todd Grantham, shout out to Celine Driver if you're watching, sir. If they're bringing back Todd Grantham, their defense is in straight trouble. Serious trouble. I think Bama goes to Gainesville and gets the W week 3. Now, don't sleep on Florida too. I mean, Florida's not dead or anything. They were a good team last year. But if you guys have heard me, I got Georgia winning the championship. But that's later on. I got Georgia winning it next year. I don't see Bama repeating. Could they make it to the playoffs? We're going to keep going with this. I think we beat Florida. Southern Miss is no problem. Shout out to Sippy's Sports Show, though. Would definitely love to do a stream with him. I think we were talking about it a little bit yesterday. Even though Bama is pretty much going to blow him out of the water, it'd be cool to talk with him about this game just because, from a fan's perspective type of deal. Ole Miss, week 5. Let's see, Miami, Mercer, Florida, Southern Miss, Ole Miss. Ole Miss does worry me. Lane Kiffin almost got us last year, man. Not going to lie. And I think Ole Miss gets a little bit better this year. Defensively, though, I don't know. Maybe. But at the same time, I just... Instead of Oxford, you're coming to Tuscaloosa. If anybody... I'm looking right now at the schedule, back-to-back weeks. Ole Miss at home for Alabama, and then going to A&M at Kyle Field. A&M's pretty good with Jimbo Fisher. He's been doing good the past couple years. They were a one-loss team last year. Their only loss was Alabama. No one was stopping them last year anyway. Does A&M get better? They got Haynes King, a 5-star recruit at quarterback coming in. Kellen Mond's gone. They lose a couple receivers or whatever. Kendrick Rogers, or I think is one guy, right? They bring some good talent in. They're recruiting. They're doing really well. They have me worried too. At Mississippi State, I'm really not sold yet on Mike Leach. I think he was a good coach at Washington State, but they are miles away from trying to beat Bama. I think we get the win there. Tennessee, I don't even need to say anything. Tennessee's a dead program that gets McDonald's, gets the bags, fills them up with cash, and pays players. And even if you didn't do all that, you're still a dead program, Tennessee. I wouldn't be surprised if we hung 80 on you this year. 80 to nothing or something. I don't know. I'm not here to do score predictions, but we're winning for the 15th straight year the third Saturday rivalry. Then perfect timing, we get a bye week. LSU comes to Tuscaloosa. They're never going to be what they were in 2019. Could they be a little bit better this year? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Okay, we'll see. We didn't expect them to be what they were in 2019 whatsoever. I had them like 10-2 or something like that. I don't know. But I think we get the win there. I also think we beat New Mexico State, Arkansas, at Auburn. I don't sleep on Auburn ever. We got to go to Jordan Hare this year. Bama has to go to Jordan Hare. I'm not going to hype this up and say we're going to destroy Auburn. I don't care how good or bad Auburn is. I don't care how good or bad Bama is. When these two teams meet in the Iron Bowl, the biggest rivalry in college football, by the way. You quote me on that. You debate me all you want to. Man. I know I sound like I'm mad or whatever. I'm just determined and everything, and this is Bama's schedule we're talking about. I'm not like mad or anything, but now we're getting into some serious talk here with the Iron Bowl. People really think Auburn's going to be bad this year. They don't have a whole lot on the plate. They really don't. They have a new head coach who's dealing with the SEC coming from Boise State. He doesn't know what he's getting into. It's nothing he's faced before. Harsin was great at Boise State. I think it's a great hire. But this isn't no run the MAC. This is the SEC, son. I'm going to give the win to Alabama. I'm going to give it to them. Kind of a coin flip, because who knows what Auburn is going to look like. You never know. I mean, you just never know with new coaching hires. It feels like as the years have gone on, the past couple years, it just seems like all these new young coaches. I mean, look at what Kirby Smart's done at Georgia. He made a national championship in his second year as a head coach at Georgia. Granted, they already had some guys with Mark Richt, but regardless, I mean, Auburn's got a couple guys from Malzahn. Not a whole lot, maybe compared to maybe what Georgia had when Kirby Smart came in or whatever, but I mean, it's still something. So, anyway, that being said, guys, I'm 12 games plus a bye week, 13-week schedule. I'm just, and again, this isn't Bama bias. I think anybody would agree, right? Unless you want to look at a team like Ole Miss or A&M. Those are really the two teams that I really think would have a chance to upset Alabama, especially A&M, being at Cal Field, which is a nice field, by the way, it seems like on television. But I'm going to give Bama the benefit and just say they run it 12-0 this year. I really don't see anybody truly stopping them until they make it to Atlanta, and then maybe they face Georgia, and maybe Georgia slips them up there. Kirby Smart's in the best position to beat Nick Saban as a former assistant, and you got to give them some credit. We'll see how good they really are. They got Clemson week 1, but again, I'll do Clemson and I'll do Georgia, and I'll even make a huge hype and hate and get ready for that game, because I'm looking forward to that more than I am Bama Miami, although I'm still looking forward to that. So that being said, people, I'm going to give them 12-0. Alabama, regular season champs for the SEC West. What happens in Atlanta against Georgia or whoever might come out of the East? Maybe Florida surprises. I don't think that's going to happen. I got Georgia, but you never know. So I got Bama running the table and going 12-0. That being said, appreciate everyone for watching. Hey, Bama fans, comment down below. Let me know what you think. What are we going to go? 12-0? Who can slip us up? Am I overlooking Auburn or LSU or whoever? Who am I overlooking? Who am I not giving enough credit to? Comment down below. I really would love to hear from y'all. Thanks so much for watching and tuning in today. Like, comment, and subscribe right here to Ballard Sports Media for more sports content. And until next time, Ballard Sports Media checking out. Y'all have a good night. Love you guys. Roll Tide, roll. We'll see you.